And so, what am I writing? Because, girl, there's no plot sometimes. Hi, and welcome to the channel. I am JM Ray Writes, and I am an aspiring author documenting my journey of becoming a published writer. I'm finally editing. Oh my god, my nails are cooked, but I got some coffee. I'm going through my edits, but as I'm doing this, I just made a to-do list for all the things that I need to do today, so hopefully I can get my mind right, my mind focused. But honestly, once I have some coffee, sometimes I'm like, damn, there's so many things I could be doing. And I want to do small tasks so I feel accomplished instead of like one big task. And then I'm like also thinking, should I be editing this manuscript, which is something that I really have to think about. Doing my nails. I think I'm going with this color, so yay. I'm watching some vlogs, catching up on some authortubers that I missed while I was away. I didn't finish writing or editing like I said I was, but it's because today I'm like, it's gonna be a self-care day. So I finished my to-do list and I did all the plucking that I needed, gave myself a scalp massage. I'm gonna do one little base layer of nail polish, and then I'm gonna wash my hair. I did edit. Literally, that's just a slime. That's how far. 2 paragraphs. What? 1 line. That's what I did, and then the rest is just my list of things to do. And yeah, I bought a new tripod, and I'm excited for it to come and see how many different shots I can get with it. But I'm testing out this new color grading on my stuff. So damn, my desk is such a hot mess. Okay, I need to clean this up. Okay. I spent most of the morning today on my computer looking at literary agencies and agents and seeing who could potentially be a good fit. It took my entire morning and my afternoon. I did not get up from bed until 1 p.m. That's insane. It was really interesting to see some of the pages that the agents had, because there was one agency in particular that they had like the things that they wanted or were looking for, or like their particular tastes, in like a kind of bar graph, so you could see where they would lean. So they had like commercial on one end or literary, and you see where they landed in that bar, or if they wanted story driven or plot driven work. And girl, the ones that were like all the way to the right next to the plot, I was like, oop, not for me. My story meanders. It's all about the characters. But it's silly because when I think about like commercial fiction, I think of commercial plot focused, and then when I think of literary, I think of character driven. And so what am I writing? Because girl, there's no plot sometimes. Yeah, I struggle. And I like to think that like the characters are special enough for you to want to go on the journey with them, even if it's very low stakes. And that's the reality. My stories are like very low stakes. But I think they can be fun and sexy, and I love all that, but like, how do I showcase that? Okay. I haven't been writing since I got back from the retreat. I don't know what's gonna get me back into it, but I do think that I have a lot on my mind, a lot still to process. Truly, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I got my first rejection from a mentorship program, and this was something I learned the night before I was flying out to Chicago. And I read the email and I saw the subject line, and I was like, I don't want to open this, but I did. And it was a very polite rejection. They gave me three snippets of readers, because I did send a sample of my first chapter. And they had positive things to say. One was like, I'm rooting for the character Kim, and that was nice. But someone was like, I saw a typo and it threw me off. Bitch, I was losing it. And it's true. It's because it was a word that was like auto corrected, and I didn't see it until after I submitted the fucking thing, and it's like the stupidest thing, but it's one word. So I was mad that that person said like as if there were multiple typos. I'm like, there weren't. It was just one, and I know which one you're talking about. But yeah, that is a big deal, because it just, first impressions are everything. And when people don't have long attention spans, you have to be able to grasp them and hold them there. And with that rejection, I fear that I'm not capable of doing that. That makes me feel really bad, because I feel like I put so much like effort into my stories. And yes, this is just like something very minor. This is not even me querying. My God, I'm gonna be devastated when I query. But yeah, it just made me rethink a lot of things about the story. So that's why I think the next day was like my last true writing day that I had, because I wasn't like really processing what I was thinking about there. But then I go into the writing retreat, and I think a lot about my skills there, because I have some incredible women around me. And they share samples, and a lot of them wrote poetry, which, you know, prose has like this type of power. Poetry has this type of power that I feel like that's not how I write. And so hearing them share, I'm like, okay, bitch, I'm Dr. Seuss, the cat in the hat took a rat, because they're giving lyricism. They're showing me like it's incredible what they were able to like write in such short periods of time. But the way that they approach the writing, it's not the way that I approach writing. I'm thinking of the story, not the words, right? And in my opinion, some of the people that I was around, they possessed skill in both, and I was so impressed. And, you know, also envious, of course. I'm like, damn, I need to start focusing more on the words of my story. It's hard, because also as an author who's writing novels, right, and I write really long shit, I can't be bogged down by how I say things. I need to just have it on the page. And so then it's something that I have to think about in revision. Right now, I'm still like in semi-developmental edits with this project KT. So I can't go back, or I shouldn't go back, like how my story is written. I think it's just fine. I think it's just fine. And I had this like epiphany like a few years ago. I would say maybe 22 or something like that, 2023 or something, where I'm like, I can be average, and that's okay. It's okay if I'm an average writer. I don't have to be a fucking poet. It's okay to be average. And that helped shed a lot of the fears that I had, because this idea of being like perfect, being ideal, being like this incredible writer, and if your girl's not her, that's okay. It's not like I want to be careless with my words. It's not like I don't want to put effort into my prose. Of course I do. Of course. But if that's not my strong suit, I can't fucking cry about it. I can only try to improve. And I will, and I'll always put effort towards that. I do want my words to look good on paper, but is it my biggest priority? No, it's not. So today I was looking into a writers conference, and that's what get me. I mean, I've been looking at it since I got back, okay? But it was one of the writers that I met in the writing retreat, that she runs a conference. And I'm gonna, I'm like looking into like what panels I should go, and what are the agents that are going to be there. And so that's why I've been thinking about it the last few days, because I need to just like buy my ticket. But I haven't decided who I want to, like, if I want to have a one-on-one, and who would I have the one-on-one with. So girl, this morning I went on a whole rabbit hole of like, who are the big five and who owns them? Well, I know who the big five are, but I went into like a very, like, now I really know who the big five are. All of that to say that I spent a lot of time just being in the book world, thinking about if I could choose, so it would be my choice. And then like keeping tabs and bookmarking certain literary agencies, certain agents that I'd be curious to, I don't know more about and see if they're a good fit. And I came upon one of the authors that I met during the conference, and she had like a video up of like one of her books that is published, and I just started crying because she's such an incredible woman, and I was just so happy for her. So yeah, that just I've been crying, and you know what? I've never mentioned this, not in this video, but I actually keep a log of all the tears that I've shed this year. But I stopped May 1st. That was actually like my last one, which is sad. But anyways, in just 5 months, I filled the whole page. So, and I have to add, so I don't have anything for May, and I don't have anything for June. So I'm gonna get up again in July. But I do remember I cried the first day that I met one of the ladies from the writing retreat, and she was telling me this. Gosh, she was telling me this story, and that made me so sad. It also reminded me of an episode of Black Mirror, which was the episode that I quit Black Mirror because I couldn't finish watching that episode, where something along the line, something similar happens. I think a woman loses her husband, and then AI takes over his email account, and now she's emailing him back and forth. That is so depressing. Anyways, I cried so hard, and I'm like, this is like the first impression of you're having of me. I'm sorry, I'm such a crybaby. And then we continued. Then we started talking about politics, and I started crying again. So, anyways, it was very emotional. And then, okay, so I cried. That wasn't the retreat hadn't even started. I got there early. She and I were there early. So, girl. Anyways, and then the next time I remember crying, I think someone shared something. I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. Yes. And I think I was like at the farewell dinner, I definitely cried. Someone was saying something about what they had written. And then the next day at breakfast, once technically the thing was over and it was time to say goodbye, I was just like, I cried there too, knowing this was the end. Oh, I had such a good time. But it was so sad to say goodbye. But anyways, this also makes me... I've started looking back at the footage that I've recorded this past month. It's not been a lot, and I'm disappointed in that, but whatever. I was living in the moment while I was in Oaxaca. I didn't have a dedicated writing setup, which hopefully I can change soon. It makes me wonder, what am I supposed to do as a writer that wants to be published? Like, how much of myself am I supposed to show or like, how much of myself is supposed to be out there in the world for people to judge and critique? I want to do a YouTube, and I started this vlog as if it was going to be a YouTube video, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna post this. Part of me is like, who cares? Who cares? You're not published. You're not valid. Do I want people that I know to see this? Writing has been and has always been a very personal thing for me for a lot of reasons. So this would open me up to discussing things with people in my real life that I genuinely don't want to. No siree, count me out. I don't want to talk to you about my books. We can talk about anything else, but I don't want to talk about my books. But a stranger that also writes, I love talking about my books. So it's different. I really just don't want to talk to my family about this because it's not for them. There you go. It's not for you, family. It's for me. I'll leave this off here because I need to start writing. and I need to start submitting the edits. But this, okay, last thing I'm gonna say is that's another issue I've encountered. Because I've seen and witnessed such incredible writing this last month, I wanna go back into my manuscript and start editing the shit out of it for like for the words. For the words. And I know I shouldn't do that because I still need to finish Act 3 and then kind of rewrite all of Act 4. I don't have time to do this shit. So right now I'm in the car. I'm waiting for my husband to do something, and I decided to bring a little bit of writing with me, but I haven't done any writing. Instead, I've been doing a little bit of journaling. And more so like processing some of the things that have happened this month. Yeah, I need to get it together and just jump into it, and that's the hardest part. It's like getting started. Every time I go to like start something or start reading, I immediately do other things. I'm like, let me journal, let me write about something else, let me track, let me do all these chores that I should be doing. Yes, but hopefully I'm gonna have a clean slate in July, which is in just a few days. Right now, I think I'm gonna use the rest of this month, you know, the last few days, to really put myself back into the mind space that I need to be so that I can hit the ground running July 1st, because I really do want to get that first chapter out for that co-writing project. I need to just be in a very creative space, and I cannot let anything bog me down, whether that's the rejection from the mentorship, the friendship that I lost, and, you know, thinking ahead about like the future of my life and my writing career. Should I start a YouTube? I still haven't decided. So crazy. I'm like making these vlogs as if it's true, but it's not true yet. I have not made a channel. I have not decided on anything. I technically don't even have a pen name. This month was supposed to be the start of my career. I still feel like it can be because of the connections that I made, which were incredible. Again, I cannot speak highly enough of the people that I've met. Like, they're just amazing, and I really do look forward to seeing them again in whatever capacity, whether that's another writing retreat, a conference, whatever. But I still need to keep writing. I don't have an agent. I haven't queried. I haven't done the things I feel like I should be doing, considering the stage that I'm in my writing, which is I do have projects complete, so I need to just like finish them out so I can put them out there. And then maybe I'll put myself out there with my YouTube. I don't know yet. Still haven't decided. We'll see. I got my new camera. I get to record. Yay! So I want to give a quick update from yesterday. I had such a good day. I went to my writing group for the first time in over a month. It was so nice. I was actually in flow. I was editing, and it made me realize I can do this again. You know, I feel like I've been out of the game for so long. Truly just been like a few weeks. I don't count the writing that I was doing in the writing retreat as progress towards my manuscript because it was all generative, and even though I did write in fiction a few times, they're not necessarily things that are going to end up inside the manuscript. So it was nice to finally get in there, and I have paper edits done that I need to now submit. There are technically 2 days left of the month, today and tomorrow, though today I would say is kind of a wash, though I will try to submit at least a few pages worth of edits into my manuscript, so that I don't feel so overwhelmed, because I do want to edit another chapter tomorrow and then submit all that I can before month's end. The second thing that I really loved about yesterday, aside from the flow, which was definitely the top, was an email that I got from one of the women that I met at the writing retreat, and she sent a discount code for her writing conference, which is coming up in September, which 100% I am going to. I'm so excited. And third, I got another message from a woman that I met at the writing retreat, and she had invited me to her writing group. Such an honor, such an honor. They meet twice a month, and she told me the next time they're going to meet and that she would follow up with me so that I could join via Zoom.
And I'm so excited about it. I really am. But there's a lot of things happening for me this month. So I felt like yesterday was like everything coming together. I finally achieved flow state in my manuscript again. I, committed to going to a writing retreat. And now I'm potentially joining another writing group. The stars are aligning. The stars are aligning. And even though, like, when I think about all that I had imagined for this month, even though it's different from what I expected, it's still overall like such a great positive. Everything that came out of this month is a net positive, except for the fact that I didn't work as hard as I wanted to on my manuscript. I feel like I'm ready for July and I'm gonna have this vigor in me. That's what I'm hoping for. So tomorrow is all about setting up for success for July because I have a lot to do.
Okay, it is about 12 something, and I've gotten through quite a bit of edits, so I'm very happy about that.
Okay, so good news. I had a really good writing session. I went on for almost 3 hours and I got through edits of chapter 21 and 25. Now it's the hard part where I have to go in and actually submit those edits, which I don't like. It always takes me a really, really long time. It is the end of the month, so I have to get it done. That's it, period. I just had so many things in my mind that it did take me a while to get into flow. But once I was in it, I just kept going. Partway through, I did want to stop, but I was like, let me just finish this packet. And that way I could, be a little bit free of it. So this is done fully. I've had this printed out since forever. So it's nice to finally just put it away and get it ready for recycling. I have a long day ahead of me and hopefully I can submit these edits and it doesn't take the whole day, but I fear it may take at least another 3 hours or so. But let's see how fast I can do it. 3 hours is being generous. I'm pretty sure it's going to take maybe 4 or 5, but time to get to work.
I've only worked about, well, actually 4 hours today, but just to submit the last two things, it was 30 minutes and 42 minutes, so not even an hour and a half extra, but we're getting there. And in the manuscript, I've submitted, that's the name of the chapter I'm going to work on next, 363. Not bad.
Okay, so it's a few hours later. I did a few more edits and my total right now is almost 5 hours. Look at the time. I still have about 20-ish minutes left. We'll see what I get done. I still need to submit this page and a whole chapter and a half. So it looks like I didn't actually complete it because, oh my god, it was movie night on Love Island. Of course I'm gonna watch it. My god, it was crazy. It was so good. It was a two-parter, so I still have to wait till Thursday. But anyways, yeah, so I can't keep talking. I have to just make this happen. Okay, so now I have the stats for the end of the month, and I will say it was not a good writing month, but I will stand on my first prediction, which is my life has changed. And in that way, I think a lot of stepping stones were laid in this month of June, and I'm very grateful for everything that happened, and I still do actually believe that this is like the beginning of something for sure. The amount of people that I met, the ways that I've thought about my stories, and the fact that I shared some work, these are all like big steps that I've taken, and it wouldn't have happened if, for example, I hadn't gone to the writing retreat. So yeah, I'm very excited for what's to come, and I think some seeds have definitely been, planted. I would say regarding my edits, the stats are bad, very bad. Okay, I did do a big rush towards the end of the month and I got to submit some edits, so good for me. But overall, I have like under 2,000 words put into the manuscript, and that really sucks. I still have the biggest chunk of work left, and that is half of Act 3 and all of Act 4. Yeah, but my goal is to focus on that in July and really, 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 really focused. Let's hope that I can get it together because I need to. I need to. Overall, yeah, I'm happy with June. I think I'll close out this vlog by saying thank you for anyone that watched. Anyone who's interested in like, you know, going through this process with me, I very much appreciate it. I think I showed some ups and downs, and I definitely had a lot of ups, but there are also a lot of downs, and I know that I'm doing this to just keep track of myself and hold myself accountable, and also to prove that, you know, I'm someone that is taking writing seriously. But it's nice to like be on a journey with other fellow writers as well who maybe are going through the same things. Like certainly I have a lot of self-doubt, and sometimes just talking it out is just really helpful. I can't say that I'm going to always be the most confident person. So maybe you might hear me, you know, come in and out of different eras with like, oh my god, I feel great, and then like, oh my god, today was the worst. I hate everything I ever written. How dare I think I could do this? But that's just how it goes, and I feel like I've accepted that. Also, one of the important decisions is deciding to make this channel. As I'm recording this, I don't have a channel. I am working on the start of it and, you know, thinking about how I want it to go. And I think for the most part, it's going to be just me vlogging my experience as a writer. So I welcome you to join this journey with me. If you're a writer, if you're just a reader, if you're a reader that thinks they want to be a writer, there's so many glamorous versions of what it means to be a writer. I would hope that this would be like something that's unfiltered. And I'll show you like my ups and downs, and it's gonna be a roller coaster here, okay? So yes, thank you for anyone who's interested in like coming along in this journey with me. I really appreciate like anyone's like, you know, support. This community that I've seen on YouTube anyway seems very like welcoming, so I'm excited, and let's see where this journey goes. See you next time.